Uh, it was mainly that I was really tired of the way black metal was going. I was on tour with Satyricon, and during that tour I noticed, I don't know, some kind of change in the whole metal scene, music scene, and I don't know, I came home from that tour and just sat down and said, I don't want to do this anymore, I want to go back to my roots. And my roots was thrash and heavy metal from the old days. And I think that whole spirit was lacking in the black metal scene and all around me. All of you know that in the middle of the 90s, everything started to turn really shit. And my response to that was Nocturnal Breed, so I can just go back to my old stuff and play the music I really loved when I was growing up. So that's basically that. That too is just coincidence. My whole life, I love the word nocturnal. Since I was a kid, that was just like the coolest little English word. I had to look it up and all that stuff. And when I was thinking about the band name, I was starting to have insomnia problems and that kind of sleeping stuff, and thought like, yeah, okay, nocturnal kind of represents that part of me that never can sleep and always stays up at night, and it represents our whole scene. Tex and all the other people in the scene, we are all kind of nocturnal. So the Nocturnal Breed is kind of a representation of the whole metal thing. I have to go back to what I talked about earlier. That everything was starting to sound so overly modern, and the digital stuff was coming in, and black metal was kind of falling apart. And when I looked back to my heroes, everyone was kind of wimping out. Megadeth, Metallica, Slayer starting to do their kind of weird new street kind of music. I don't know. Everything just sounded like shit, and then thrash. That was the whole clue to go back to my roots, and then thrash kind of, I don't know, that's the stuff I listen most to, is the thrash music. So it just became a natural thing to do. But it's, in my eyes, and I think in all the guys in the band's eyes, it's metal music. We never sit down and say, okay, I'm gonna just make solely thrash music. It's not about that. It's just making metal songs, and it happens to turn out that most of our songs, maybe 70%, turn out to be thrash music. But if you really listen, the rest of it is strongly Twisted Sister, Wasp, Iron Maiden influenced, heavy metal the whole way, I think. Wow, that was 95 questions. Where should we start? The term black thrash, we never used it. When I started Nocturnal Breed stuff, I had never heard that. The R&R album wasn't out yet, and so that term is something that the fan base or the magazine base or whatever kind of picked up from Noir and just slapped that on all the bands who were doing this kind of heavy metal, thrash, rock and roll kind of music. But it's true that this style kind of originates back to, I think it originates all the way through heavy metal. So it's no like specific place where it starts, but if you're gonna go far back, you have Swedish Gehenna. They were doing this kind of black thrash rock and roll thing several years before us. And then, do you remember anyone otherwise?
No.
No, but we never used it. We were metal, or we kind of thought about ourselves as a thrash band, but the term black thrash, it came several years later when I started to notice in interviews that people was using that term, and then I kind of refused to use that term for some years, and then it just became pointless because everyone was using it. So in our eyes, we're just a metal band or a thrash band.
Black more like rock and roll, you know.
Yeah. And there's a difference between, us and Noir and stuff Two, we have much more heavy metal into it. I don't know what it's much more specifically black and thrash. But these are only, this is just minor things. It's metal, all of it is metal. And did we have a fan base in the start? No, especially not in Norway. It was more of a curiosity to come see us, I think. But a major fan base, there's never been a major fan base in Norway for this kind of music ever. It's been Germany, Holland, and those places who's been kind of taking care of that. And in the start, most people made fun of us for wearing denim clothes and these glasses here and that kind of stuff. In the mid-90s, that was just looked upon as stupid, you know, because everyone was gonna go modern and cutting their hair and getting silver fucking clothes and shit like that. So no, there was no real fan base, but the concerts were cool. We played the first gig we ever played, actually the first gig we ever played was in Belgium, I think, with Emperor and Balsagot. But the first gig we had in Norway, I think that was when we got back from that tour, and that was pretty cool. That was in Elm Street, and half of the crowds was people that you guys love from other Norwegian bands. That made the whole concert really special. We have people like Frost, who had brought his big inverted cross from home with him on the subway, going to Nocturnal Breed concerts. We had skulls full of meat, the kind of classic Wasp thing, throw meat in the face of people, and just lovely, childish, heavy metal stuff like that. It was kind of fun. And when we came out to Europe and they saw us for the first time, I have no idea what people thought, but the response was insanely good from the first couple of songs, because we hadn't released any albums yet, so people just had to take us at face value, and that really worked, I think. Was there more questions? I don't remember. We're here for about 4 or 5 hours more, and then we're done. And the whole new recording, this is the drums. We're gonna do guitars and stuff in other places, but so we basically made and put together about 6 songs in a couple of days, and that's not too bad, I think. We have a little computer here, but that's for my demo songs and stuff like that. But this is kind of the old way of doing it. You can't really just jump in and take stuff away and edit like you do on a computer, and that forces you to, I don't know, put more into the riffs, and it's turning out really good. Tompa! Tommy is our old Speed Metal Legion's chief, so everyone should salute him. He did a really good job with our concerts and stuff in the beginning, and helped out the band. I lived in his place. Production demo from the Raped Angels is made in his old house or apartment, and he's a really cool guy, and he's been in on doing backing vocals together with, I guess that's what you're asking, the guys from the trenches, people. We always have people with us on the recording. It's not only us. And if you're gonna have a big, accent sounding metal choir, you need to have several guys. You can't just do it alone. So we had Tommy, he's been out there doing it. On Tools of the Trade album, we have both Maniac and from Mayhem and the 1349 guys doing backup vocals. And this time, since it's pestilence and plague times, and we can't just fuck around like we used to do, so we're having people from the trenches in Texas. These guys, Sadistic Force, those guys and their friends, they're on standby now. So when we have the first mixes with the vocals on, it's going over to Texas, and they will put down some metal backing vocals on that. And we have a couple hours from here, we have a band, Likkjern, who also have all their people gathered in a place, and they will also do backing vocals. So there's about 10 people coming in from the trenches, helping us out this time. So that will be good. That, and I was told by Kjell, who's doing the Speed Metal Legion's page, Kjell from Hell, he wants every one of you to kind of, if you have a Nocturnal Breed shirt, or if you have some Nocturnal Breed stash, put it on, take a picture, and send it in to us. And there will be a big centerfold in the LP for this album, since it's also anniversary album and a best of and everything. So it's going to be a double album and with new songs. And we're going to have a big mass picture with all the fans and us put together like one giant metal poster. So if you want to be in that cover, take a picture and send it to Kjell, or you post it on Spin Metal Legion's page, or you can send it to the Nocturnal Breed page. And I guess that's about it for now. So
Fuck off.